Hi, guys. This is Jeanne Holden, producer of the show. And I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom. For creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Ooh-ah. You are listening to ThatMan on Fatman with Scott and Jeanne Holden, and they, trust me, have a great ass.
The second Y is sent in by
ThatMan on Fatman.
Oh, right on. Scott Holden.
Scott Holden, yep.
And what does Scott want?
Call me Scott because I'm Holden.
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Scott, who does ThatMan on Fatman podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
Well, once upon a time, just a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit written by old Kev Smith.
Ooh-ah. ThatMan on Fatman.
Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts.
He's that man. He's talking.
Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around.
Go get him, that man.
So I created a show with one heck of a plan, and I call that show ThatMan on Fatman.
ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
ThatMan on Fatman. ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
Go get him, that man.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this episode 30. Wow, it should be a higher number, but just the way things are, episode 30 of ThatMan on Fatman. I'm Scott Holden. This is our special. I've really well, actually, before I even get into that, in the studio with me today, this morning, is none other than co-host extraordinaire and producer extraordinaire, Jeanne Holden.
Hi, guys. How are you?
And I've come to very much enjoy these top 10 moment shows of the year because, you know, we sit here on December the 31st as we record this to summarize the year 2017 from our perspective in terms of, you know, what we think are some top 10 moments of the past year's
highlights.
shows. Yes. And we're very behind this year in terms of episode count and all that stuff. You know, we had a rough year. We had some health issues. We had some other stuff. But we're still making it in. We still have our top 10 moments.
We got that all out of the way for a brand new year.
Yes,
well, and that was the intent, too. I'm like, whatever health issue can be solved now, fix it. So then for 2018, it's brand new.
Yes. So with looking down the barrel of 2018, it's nice to stop and reflect on the year that was.
Right.
And so this is our third top 10 show, top 10 moment show, even though it's our fourth season. Right. So at some point, maybe next year we'll double down and revisit the first year of the show.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, because the further away we get from it, the more interesting it gets.
Yeah.
And those top 10 moments will be very different than they would have been had we picked them that year.
For sure.
That moment.
Yeah.
So we have that floating around in the barrel. But this year was a very interesting year. Like, we've had some great interviews. We did some cool things. But before we get too far ahead, this is the first show since the holidays. And it feels like I dropped the Christmas show real early because once it was done, it was done.
Yeah.
It was like,
there was
no reason not to put this out. So we put out two shows back to back.
Right. There's more for people to listen to.
Yeah. And we let it lie. We had the holiday in there.
Yeah.
And so how did you feel the holidays went? How was our Christmas?
The Christmas was nice.
Yes, it was quiet. It was fun.
It was sweet because you put all the Santas out. Oh, and I haven't even got a new Santa.
Yes, it's your post.
Because when we moved back to New Jersey, it's hard to put.
Holidays have been very depressing.
Yeah, like the Christmas, when you move back, okay. Let's just put it out there. All of the stuff was not displayed as was once before.
No.
So now the Santas are packed, and once in a while they're out. But Scott put them all out, and I tell him those Santas. I don't know, Santa. There's and some of them are very majestic Santas.
This year, I felt like
I loved it.
It's kind of weird with all this sort of I'm taking Christmas, this Christmas war bullshit. This year, I kind of wanted to be like, you know what? It's my Christmas too. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. But that's always been the thing. Everyone. It's their Christmas, so you need to make it what you want it to be.
Yeah, and so I sort of my feeling was, I'm going the other way. I'm going to celebrate the paganness of this holiday with Father Christmas, this big fat elf.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't look at him as anything more than wonderful. I love Santa. I do. I mean, I've just been whatever. So anyway, you doing that was great. The presents were great. Spending time with the kids is great.
Yeah.
The Rick and Morty thing is great.
Yeah. I got a Rick and Morty. It's by
McFarlane
Toys. So Todd McFarlane's company
so
are doing a Lego-esque, a building blocks type line of Rick and Morty toys. So I was given it's a set that comes with the car and Rick and Morty and their garage.
Right.
And it's so funny now because I was always a Lego kid. So I instantly loved it and just couldn't wait to go and put the thing together. And it took longer than I thought. It was a much more fine-pieced setup. But I know their goddamn garage now. So when I see it on the show, it's I built that. I know where that is. I know the whole perspective of the garage now because then I ordered a second kit, which with gift cards.
Yeah, there's
something, and I said if I buy something with a gift card, it has to be something that I would never buy.
You would normally not buy for yourself.
I want to. I want to.
That's what this. That's exactly. What a gift is for.
That's what I do with gift cards. I say I buy shit that I would normally. I try not to buy anything practical. I try, and so I bought There was another set, the other part of the garage that came with Jerry and a Meeseeks And so
Mr.
I feel like I
Receipts.
really know their garage because I built the whole thing up. At some point, Jeanne will snap a picture of the little setup.
Yeah, I'll do it, and I'll.
The only downside
very delicate pieces.
was that McFarlane toy. There was a missing half of the second garage pail engine of the flying saucer, so I'm going to write them. And if they're like, in most companies, I'm sure they'll shoot me a whole engine.
Yeah. I mean, it's very delicate. It's very like intricate.
Yeah.
Is it more like because I'm looking at it from now? Is it more like unsteady than like Legos? Is there like
it's
a
not.
wobbly?
It has nothing to do with the. It's not to do with the pieces. There are aspects of the design that probably could have been improved.
Right.
Or, there's just.
It just doesn't seem like everything's like tight.
It's stability.
Yeah.
It's the saucer in particular, and that top part. Yeah. If you touch it wrong, you put it right back together, but it'll come apart.
Yeah, but the stability on the bottom, I'm just looking at. It's it's just different than Legos. It doesn't seem as thick, but it's very.
It's very funny because when you put it all together, it no longer looks like Lego.
It looks really great.
It doesn't look like a Lego piece.
It doesn't at all.
Yeah, because there's no bumps anywhere.
It's got like the skull.
Yeah,
it's got
fun.
every. Yeah, it is.
It was a lot of fun.
Very
so
fun.
if you're
So
Rick
that
and
was
Morty, it was a Rick and Morty holiday.
Yeah, go to McFarlane Toys, and they have like other shit too. They have a lot of toys there, so just check that out.
And we got. I ended up getting my son the ants with it. Ants in my eyes, Johnson, which they actually make a little figure of. He's standing in front of a stove,
and the fire goes up his arm.
yeah. So he got a kick out
Hey,
of that.
Merry Christmas.
So yeah. What else? It was a nice holiday. It was, it
was nice.
It was pleasant. It was, low
I mean,
key.
we like hung around here.
Good food.
So, Maura had to work, so we hung out around here, and Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day too. So we've just been relaxing. So
yeah,
it's
been enjoyable.
It's been enjoyable.
I hope your holidays have been the same.
Eating, just like this. It's almost like this time is almost like a reboot.
A reboot? A reboot?
A reboot. It is. It really is when you think about it. I know it sounds so corny, but I can
nothing
be on the
stereotypical there.
The
we got Kevin popped up on what do you call it, on Netflix, on what's his name's new show?
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Oh my God, Steve, save the what?
I don't know. Bill Nye saves the world.
Oh, there you go.
Bill Nye saves the world.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith is on the episode 1 of season 2. He is in the weed episode, of course. Mm-hmm. He's on their little panel. So you might want to check that out, of course. Things going on with Kevin over the holiday season.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff he was doing. He's been traveling around a lot with Ralph.
Yeah. And he popped up.
And their Babylon.
He also popped up in that movie that we saw. I mean, I think we've already mentioned it, but what do you call it? The
Disaster Artist?
The Disaster Artist, yeah.
Yes, I'm remembering all the names today. Woo-hoo.
You always do. That's why I have you here. That's why you're an important part of the show.
Keep the mind fresh, people. Keep the mind fresh.
I'm the one who loses everything quickly.
Social media constantly. No.
So all in all, it's been an awesome little holiday period. Nice and relaxing. Right. No complaints. It's been fun.
Cold. You know what? I'm not.
Been playing some video games.
Yeah. I'm very negative about the cold lately. I'm just not loving it at all.
A lot of gift certificames, so a lot of things purchased like video games after the fact, things that I wanted.
Right.
And also, a lot of Star Wars in the air too. I'm really digging Rebels. I'm really digging the show Rebels. I didn't watch it.
Is that the one with the... Okay, I'm thinking...
It's a CGI animated show.
Yeah, I do like that.
After watching, seeing Star Wars The Force Awakens, it's nice to find Star Wars I like again.
Yeah. The Anakin on one of those is really cute. The Anakin, the older one?
I'm sorry, The Last Jedi. I'm making fun of The Last Jedi.
Is that the CGI one that...
Yeah.
He's a cutie. That Anakin on that one's cute.
No, that's Clone Wars.
That's Clone Wars. Oh, that's the one I like.
But
that's
it's the same people that did it.
The same people that did it, yeah.
Anyway, so I've been digging Rebels a lot, folks. So.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend it if you're a Star Wars person who's like... Either way, however you feel about the Last Jedi, it's still cool to see, another aspect of Star Wars, and it's so nice, the little Easter eggs they put in and stuff. It's fun. I've been enjoying it. So I like.
Speaking of The Last Jedi, I see many people going back for a second viewing.
I need to go back for a second viewing.
I'd like to also. Because
it's just a matter of timing.
I think people are just kind of like the same way we're feeling. Like I need to see it again just because I don't know.
I didn't love it.
Something.
That's why. I didn't love it, and other
gonna
people did. So why I should see it again to make sure that I was right the first time.
Yeah, and that's a part of it. Or like you just miss things, and it's something that you should really see again because it's loaded with tons of stuff.
Here's why I didn't think I missed things, or why, because I reacted real time in that movie. Like you guys, I mean, Cameron and Maura were around me. They saw me react real time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I wasn't the person who digested it later. I was picking up on stupid shit real time.
Yeah.
and reacting as such.
Yeah.
Like when I said, when did oh my God, I can't remember his name. Oh, when did Steppenwolf get here?
Yeah.
And shit like that. It was like, I even heard a couple people groan.
I know.
So anyway, so Star Wars Rebels is definitely something to check out. I've been checking out. I don't know why I got here, but hey.
No, just like things because when you have downtime, it's you can be doing stuff when you get bored, so you want to watch.
Another cool Christmas gift, as a result of gift certificates, was Rick and Morty on Blu-ray. And the reason I did it was, even though I have all the episodes, it's like there's commentary.
Oh my God, the commentary.
So just to listen to the commentary has been awesome, and get perspective on. So there's a lot of rap in it too, particularly in the first season.
I love Morty. That's all I know. Rapping. Morty rapping. And you can tell because I don't know how many commentaries these guys have done, but as you watch it.
Yeah, by the second season, their commentaries become much better.
They still
very
buttoned up.
Have not learned. All right, folks, I've learned how to do commentaries from the best, Kevin Smith. If you listen to his commentaries on his movies, they're always very good, very engaging. They usually have a lot of people. And the key to a good commentary is it can be completely independent from the film.
Right.
It can be like a podcast that's overlaid over a movie where the subject is essentially the movie that they're discussing. But the biggest problem with most commentary, you want to hear bad commentary, is if you're recording a commentary, you have to turn the sound to zero of the thing that you're doing. Because if you do not, you get swept up into it. And then your commentary becomes a series of, check this out here. This is really good.
Yeah.
And that is uninteresting.
Right. Well, but then there's
that's the first thing Kevin Smith says. I mean, he's done some commentaries on his show, that Fatman on Batman with Mark Bernardin. And the key is you turn off the sound, you turn on the closed caption.
Right.
So you get an idea where the dialogue's at.
Yeah.
And then another key is having watched, they say watch it twice.
Right.
Before you record the commentary, if you want to be serious.
Right.
And I agree. Because then you won't be as dependent on what you're seeing on the screen. It's more of a cue.
Yeah.
So that you can talk about things that you thought about already, things that you want to hit.
Right.
Just some advice on commentary from the man himself.
Now, well, because they do it too. Now, this was actually on a DVD, and there's other ways because they do it from the podcast, and you play the movie off the TV, right? Because the DVD,
when you sit and do a commentary, you're watching whatever it is you're commenting on.
Yeah.
But the key is, once you turn the sound on,
Right.
which so many of these commentaries do, they give them a feed, an audio feed of the show. As soon as you do that, you're going to kill the commentary because all they're going to do is get swept up in the show.
In the show again and not really listening to what you're saying. Yeah.
However, if you just feed them the video and no audio, they will naturally create the audio.
Right.
Very
interesting. Thank you for that little tip.
Yeah. Anyway, well, when we get on to the top 10, all right, so it's a top 10 episode. It's kind of special. This is, hey, it's a clip show. Woohoo! So we've gone out of our way and we've picked the top 10 moments of the past year of 2017 that we've enjoyed. If you don't make this, actually, I have two honorable mentions too I wanted to open the show with.
Okay.
Particularly in this past year. The first would be Michael Joseph Consolmagno, because he's on at least 3 shows of the episode of this year. But it's because we dropped a lot of his shows.
Right.
So, and I enjoyed all of those talks, and I enjoyed the Star Wars episode too.
That was good.
So honorable mention definitely
With Cameron
goes
too. Yep. Yeah.
to Michael Joseph, Consul Magno.
Yes. Happy holidays to them.
And a good, and
to his wife,
yeah,
April.
His wife, April,
Poor baby.
who just had some bad news just after we recorded that episode.
Yeah, she hurt herself and broke her ankle really bad.
Yeah,
and she has
broke her ankle.
she has to have another surgery. And she's very active. She's she works in a school, but the thing is,
this is going to
now
impact
she's
the
just
film. That's the thing.
Now, well, yeah, and that too. But we the most important thing is for her to get well.
Obviously.
But
it's
sitting,
now we're like,
oh
boy,
they've got 2 little kids, and she's sitting most of the time. I mean, you can't really walk on that shit.
Totally sucks. So she's like
feel better.
She's got like an
family.
apparatus, and she shattered an ankle.
Oh man! So I hope the babes are acting somewhat good. It's so hard, but all the best to you guys. Feel better.
Just in time for it to get super cold too.
I know.
Anyway, so special shout out there also to Miss Danielle Ryan. I think is another honorable mention of the year.
Yep.
And who will be joining us as part of the cast in 2018.
The cast. I like that.
The talent.
The talent.
As she'll be
all
doing
that is
our
true.
News segments.
Mm-hmm. The Smedlines.
Yes, the Smedline segments coming up this year.
I'm looking forward to that.
And that episode was great too. A lot of fun, and ended up on our other show as well, which I got to pay the bill for.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to go away.
Yes, we have to pay the bill.
That'll be done later.
Yes.
You'll never. By the time you hear this, that should be paid. So don't worry about Tales from the Swing. It'll still exist. So honorable mention would go to Miss Danny Rat at Danny Rat, DANIRAT.
Be joining us in 2018.
Yeah. So, all right, here we go. Let's go into the top 10 moments of 2017. That's right. Let's get official here. We're getting it down. We've got this great audience here in the studio to give me tons of applause. I wish you guys would just shut the fuck up. No, thank you. Okay. Now, getting on, let's see. What a year it's been. We're going to jump around a little bit because our first, I have to go into, we're doing a top 10. Maybe I should go into my classic Casey Kasem voice. Top 10 on the 2017 year. Starting out with our first top 10 hit. From the man we call Midnight Smoke. That's right, number 10 on our countdown. One of our favorite moments on the show was when Mr. Midnight Smoke showed up here in the studio.
It was.
It wasn't too long ago, too.
No.
And here's what that sound. What did that sound like?
So anyway, tell us about your Philly experience. Oh, actually, quickly, what do you think of?
I love it, man. I saw the artwork up here. We got you guys a couple years ago. I was like, oh shit, that's amazing.
That's what you got us. We love it.
I was like,
it never ends up on camera, but it's there.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, there was no way I would not hang that.
Right, and then I saw the portal gun right away, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is insane.
It is really insane.
It's so freaking cool.
We had this couple over last night that we met, but it was cool because he was a Rick and Morty fan. And at one point, I went, and he was like, oh.
That's cool.
It was like one of those moments.
But yeah, dude, this
They'll
is
be
a
back.
nice setup in here. This is gorgeous.
Yes, thank you. Well, it's fun. I mean, it's become. We want it to be like a clubhouse. We want it to feel comfortable. We want people to have coffee and have. Behind all this, pay no attention to all the guts behind the curtain.
Well, it's like a late night show, man. That's the way it's set up.
And it's so cool because it all grows now, and it sort of organically grows in response to the shit we do as a result of the show. So it's like our trophy wall. It's our big penny. It's our giant dinosaur. It's our bat cave. It's our that cave.
It is pretty great.
And so welcome. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad this worked out so well that I could stop here and hang out with you guys.
Because you're like one of those persons. Like when we do shows, when I think of audience, your face frequently comes to mind.
I'm so sorry that comes to your mind.
I wonder how Steve will think that. I wonder if he'll get that. I wonder if he'll think that's funny. So you are kind of my inner audience.
Oh, thank you.
So enjoy that.
I do. That's freaking awesome.
Because I know you listen. I get a kick out of it. So.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
shit.
that. So welcome. It's special to have my audience, my inner audience into the inner sanctum.
It's like, what would
God,
Steve
I should talk
do?
into the mic because I realize I haven't been hearing myself for the past 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
But anyway, so.
And there you go. There's your first. That was an awkward end. I thought I clipped that earlier. There you go. Notice the light smattering of applause.
Yeah.
It's not quite like the. There you go. Anyway. Way to smash the illusion there. Bring it all tumbling down. So, I loved having Mr. Midnight Smoke in here.
It was awesome.
Steve the Knight.
It's a great show.
Yeah. And, yeah, he I like the fact that he is sort of my inner audience.
Right.
I do think about it. I wonder if Steve will like this. I wonder if he'll think it's funny.
Right.
Because I know he listens and he's a good guy. And we still chat and, on the Facebook and the Twitter and all that. So thanks, Steve, for coming. And I'm glad you made the top 10.
Yeah.
I hope it makes you proud.
Right. And check out the rest of the show, too. It's awesome.
Yes. Well, that's what this is. It's a clip show. It's designed to, kind of tease, bait the hook. Go back and now you go back and listen to that episode in its fullness.
Yes.
So, and now moving on to number 9, because if we don't keep this moving, we'll be here all day.
All day.
Yes. Number 9 on our hit list, our hit parade, is someone who I was stalking for a very long time. It was actually sort of a holdover from the other show. My only regret was the way it came together, and it's kind of your fault. I can blame you because you booked it, was we didn't get Joey in on this. But next time we have him on, which is coming, I promise, Mr. Porkchop Murphy will be involved. But yeah, from Bone Crushing Juggernaut, he was always the guest that Joe thought he could get because he knew him in high school, and now he's a comic book artist and blah, blah, blah.
And he's super cool.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Mm-hmm. And, so we finally got him on the show. We ended up seeing him again at Comic-Con. Yeah. He has a product, his own book that's coming out soon. Mm-hmm. What do you call it? A graphic novel, I believe?
Right. He'll be, excuse me, he'll be back in May.
Okay.
So he'll chat more about
in May, and we'll find out more about that project.
Mm-hmm.
But Scott Koblish is a comic book artist, and also he currently has a world record for the most superheroes on a cover, and that's for good old Deadpool. Yeah. I'm pointing now, but no one can see, at a Deadpool, which is now on the wall of trophies that my daughter got me for Christmas. It's a pop. Now,
super cute.
Are all pops bobbleheads?
No, they're not.
Okay. So does that increase or decrease the value of the pop?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's just
I don't know enough about pops.
It's a specific type of pop. It's like the bobblehead pop.
I do want to get a Clapper pop that I saw. Mm-hmm. And Clapper is the droid in Rebels, callback to earlier in the show.
Oh.
Because
is there one?
He's my favorite droid, I think, in the Star Wars universe. Okay. Is Clapper.
Is there a pop of him, though?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, it is?
And it's cheap. It's like $7. Yeah. I think it's a bobblehead, too.
Oh.
So it might be, so I'm like, are all pops bobblehead?
I didn't think they were.
Forgive my ignorance, you pop junkies out there.
Yes,
I know there
for
are
any
a lot
of the
of them.
Pop people out there, let us know. If
See, I also don't understand, I don't understand built-in collectorship. You know what I mean? To me, it's like, it's like, I'm creating something to be a collectible. If you're doing that, then the reason things are collectible in the past is because they were rare. Or because,
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's different ways to look at.
It's in a sense, it's like we're doing these limited plates.
I see what you mean, yeah.
It's just, I don't know. But I mean, people, it feels poggish, if you will.
I see,
Like, remember Pogs, which were
I
essentially cardboard cutouts from supposed to be milk tops at one point?
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, people were selling those for insane inflated values, like $5 for my Pog.
Yeah, because they're a collector.
But there was no, that was all speculative. It's all speculative value.
That it will be.
Yes, I'm going to retire on my kid's college fund with this shit. People were thinking like that. And then, the market busts.
Pops
and then people
are
realize,
everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm sure pops were huge this Christmas. That baby Groot pop is really cute.
Yeah.
There's so many that I would like, to tell you the truth.
Kevin Smith. But she didn't get me that. She told me about the one she didn't get me.
She loves you.
There was a Groot one I thought of getting you, but I didn't think you'd like it. Why?
Well, because then she went on to say you like the bigger Groot better than the baby Groot. And I totally remember you saying that. But anyway, she's the best.
So anyway, so Scott Koblish is number 9.
Right.
And I just love this moment. It's probably the most, I don't know, it's so Kevin Smith, like, it's real world. It's like how Kevin Smith's art affected a guy in the comic book world at the time. It's really cool. All right, here we go.
Well, yeah, I guess for me, Kevin Smith, the only thing that I can think of, like, so when I was living in New York, the movie that came out was, what was the one with it was about all the comic books.
Chasing Amy? Or was it
so Chasing Amy came out, and it was really kind of strange because I lived downtown. I lived on Houston Street, and I'd just been there was a bar on Houston Street across from my building that was it was a lesbian bar. I forget the name of it. It's like Kitty Cat or something like that.
Oh my God! It's like right out of fucking. It's right out of the movie.
Yeah, and what happened was I'd been in that bar for Xena night. A friend of mine dragged me there, and that was fun. But it was just a lesbian bar. Like at the door, the bouncer was like, "This place isn't for you," and I was like, "Don't worry." And I'd been.
Hey, I'm Alice. I'm in construction.
Yeah. I was like, I was an inker at the time, and
fucking tracer.
Yeah, so I went to see that movie. Like, I went to go see it at I forget the Angelica or whatever was on Houston Street.
That's the Angelica.
I walked down the block to go see, someone told me that or I'd seen some advertisement for it. I hadn't seen Clerks, but like I'd seen little snippets of Clerks. So I was like, oh, that's by the guy who did Clerks. So I go in, I sit down in the movie theater. There weren't a lot of people. It was in the middle of the day. And I'm watching the movie, and it's like, first off, it's about like it's about comics, and it's really weird. And then all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of people I know, like Jimmy Palmiotti and Joe Quesada. And so I'm watching this film, and I'm completely like, whoa.
And it's taking place in a comic book con, you know what I mean? Like,
and then of course the girl is like, well, she takes him to like her favorite bar, which I'm like, that's the bar I was just at. So the surprise where like she's bi. Like, I was like, well, of course she's bi. She's in that lesbian bar that's across the street from me. So I was sitting there, and I was just watching this thing, and it was really surreal. I'm just like, I was having like a whole bunch of moments where I was like, I don't understand how this is like, I kept looking behind me to see if someone was punking me, you know what I mean? Because it was just so tight in with all the things that I've been doing and all the things I've been seeing. And it was just really surreal experience for me.
That's so cool.
Old, yeah. And then, of course, when I was an anchor, it turned my job from an invisible job into a punchline.
Yes.
So that really sucked for, like, the longest time. Like, I guess that lasted about 10 years that I heard that line.
Tracer.
Thing, yeah.
Scott Mosier.
Yeah, so that was always a pain in the ass. But eventually, I just moved away from inking anyway. So
I'm actually leaning over my right shoulder to now acknowledge and nod at my tracer guy figure,
there you go.
Which they actually made.
That's right. That's our Scott Mosier tracer action figure.
Yeah, he looks like piss too.
Yes, he's wearing the '70s shirt from hell, and
he sure is
busting out the mustache too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that story.
Oh my God, what a great story.
Yeah, someone who actually was, like, holy shit, are you filming my life
kind
of moment?
He thought he was being punked. Yeah. Like, wait, what's going on here? Is this a joke?
And still in the industry, still doing well. And and having met him now, like in person a couple times, he's a very cool guy.
He's very cool. He's very warm. Check him out on social media, too. He's
he's fun and goofy.
Great artwork, too. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Forget about the artwork. Okay. Moving on. Wait, I got to be on top of the applause here. Hang on. Give me a second to cue these up better. All right. So there we go.
Our crowd here is sleeping on the job.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So moving on to number 7.
There you go.
Jesus.
They need more caffeine.
Yes, they're too loud now. Calm down, you in the back. I see you. Put that finger down.
They don't know how to adjust.
Coming in at number 7 is none other than Miss Stacy Pressman.
Yes.
Who I love the time we spent together. It's one of the longer shows, only because it's just it's a gab fest. And Stacy is a comedian and a podcaster. She has her own show as well. And we met her back when we were starting filming for the documentary we've been doing. And she
probably like 3 years ago now.
Yeah, and she was just a lot of fun then. And we've been friends on Facebook and ever since. And
she's fun on social media too.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's a flirt.
She is. She's cute.
And at the same time, she tries to not be. She plays that whole coy game.
Right.
I'm not posting these pictures because I'm flirting.
Yeah.
Even though they're all alluring and very sexual.
She is very, very attractive lady.
Yeah. So, but it was so much fun to find out in a year where we've been plagued by, Darth Plagueis, the president, to find out that Stacy had some connection to him in some way, and just her perspective or her family's perspective of all this. Now, and I also want to say, I want to clear up something in terms of context. I will make a joke in here where I refer to black people as darkies. I am doing it ironically because Long Island has traditionally had a very, there are particular parts of Long Island that are very racially stereotypical. And so I'm calling that out by doing it. Some people may not get the context, but yes, I'm mocking the way, the tradition of what it's like. I know there's a lot of people who won't necessarily get that.
Right.
But so I want to kind of explain it. I'm not being, so just to put that in context for you. Because when I was listening to it, I'm like, oh, should I put that in?
Well, hopefully it's better and they're not.
Well, I mean, that's the point.
Yeah,
the point was, like, back then it was like, there was very, like, no darkies in my apartment, that kind of shit.
Things are more progressive now.
Yes. So.
There's definitely
my joke is calling that out.
Calling back what it used to be. Yes.
Okay. So,
yeah, people
just a little, I hope so, but some people don't. So just to clarify it up front.
If you listen to this show, you have to
I would
take
hope so.
everything with a grain
by
of salt.
now. You know how I feel about politically correct. I feel if you can't say something, you shouldn't be saying it.
Right.
I'm just putting it in context where people are going to be like,
well, that's why you're explaining it, because
because there are people out there who don't understand context.
I don't know. Whatever. Just go.
All right. How can you not talk about Trump now?
Well, first of all, Trump was my landlord. This is a true story.
God. Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I, in 19, well, not my landlord, my parents' landlord. But when I was very
hang on,
very,
I'm giving more.
Yeah, I'm getting signs to shut up.
I just called her my daughter because I'm telling her to shut up.
I'm getting like this horrible
the cut sign.
The cut sign. Shut up.
Let her talk. She's going to talk about Trump.
All
right. So this is an interesting story. So my parents lived in a building in Brooklyn. There was like kind of my mom was renting it for years from Donald Trump's father, Fred.
Okay.
Okay. It was called the Wedgwood.
So no darkies allowed, right?
The Wedgwood. I've heard of that.
So no darkies?
No, it's not true. No, there were like mixed couples. It was like the 70s,
wow.
60s, 70s. No, the father, this is interesting, was very nice.
Okay.
At least, publicly, like he made a nice appearance, in terms of his personality. He
was
friendly. People liked him.
He appeared to be nice.
But the 70s in that area, like Beach Haven, where they were talking, was very racially motivated. Like that was what was going on back then. You know what I'm saying? People would go. It wasn't totally, like there was issues going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Arthur Guthrie, I think, or one of the Guthries lived in the Beach Haven, which is right near where my parents lived. He also owned that. But my mother lived in a little bit nicer building. It was very nice blue awning. My best friend lived there. Anyway, and I was born in that building.
Okay.
So I lived there for the first year of my life. And so Donald would come with Fred to collect, he was he's probably about 10 years. How old is Donald? 70?
71, I think he just turned, yeah.
He's like 10 years younger than my mom, so he's probably in his 20s. And he would come with his dad to get the rent or fix something in the building, look at something in the building or get the lease.
How old were you at the time?
I was just born. Literally, I was one.
I was going to say, did he hit on you yet?
He might have touched my pussy. But
I'm gonna
do you mind if I grab her by the pussy?
I'm going to date her soon.
Yeah. In 10 years, I'll be dating her.
Future. I'm the same age as Melania, I think. She's my age.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah, he would be dating you.
And I'm thinking, like, if I was her, I'd never want to, I'd get grossed out. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she has to fuck him.
Ew,
Anyway, so I don't care how much money that guy has. He's gross. So, and
he's
an
like
idiot.
he's like a fat
she hates him. You
Tyrannosaurus
can see
Rex.
the hate in her face.
I
She's
know,
like,
it's so
right?
true.
Like the disgust, the disdain.
But she should disdain herself. She made the choice.
I feel bad. I actually feel bad for her. But people are like, don't feel bad for her. I'm like, I kind of do.
I do too.
I think he bought her from Putin. Anyway, so
well, because we're women, that's why
Retail.
we feel bad for her. Because we're women, we feel bad for her because we're women. That's why.
Yeah, we do. I mean, people get and his first wife. My mother knew his first wife, and she was really nice.
I bet you she was. I have a feeling she was the brains. I really do.
She was.
I think she was the brains.
My parents know the Trumps for years, so this is a crazy thing. So Donald wouldn't pay the contractors, and Fred would yell at him. Like my dad used to see Fred yelling at Donald in the building, like. And my dad was like, knew Fred, so it was really funny. I mean, my parents were like a little bit older than like maybe about 10 years older than Donald or 8 years.
God.
Yeah, so my dad would see this. My dad was friendly with Fred, and in the building, and he would say he liked him. He was, my dad's Jewish, and he liked Fred, but they said that Donald was like the schmucky son.
The schmucky son?
Yeah. But he was like, that's, the son that, that's hanging out with the father that's rich and made, millions, whatever.
Yeah.
Donald was like the guy, like the son, like sort of how like we look at his sons, but
Yeah.
They're just like Donnie Jr. It's just like that.
Yeah, it does seem
He
like they're both inept.
He just kind of like.
But I think he's out of his mind. I mean, he wasn't so crazy back in the day. And then another crazy connection to Trump is that when I got married, I'm divorced, but when I got married in 2009, my makeup artist was one of the women. She's very nice, Jill, who I love to death. She's was one of the people that had been touched by molested by him. The makeup artist from the beauty pageant. Yes.
Oh.
So I have these weird connections to Donald Trump.
There you go. Not so good on the audio today, folks. Sorry.
What's wrong with the audio?
Those applause probably just blew everyone's eardrums out.
Oh, that's all right. God, at the end there, we were like mesmerized by the story.
Yeah, that was a good tale.
That was a crazy story.
Yeah, that's why.
Little Donald. Can't you just see him? I was envisioning him as she was telling the story. It was like this little wiener walking around with his dad.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Like the little quiet guy who's in the shadow.
Little ass. He was a little asshole back then. It sounds like his dad was sort of a dick.
Well, it was weird because what I've heard, his dad was like, like a Klan sympathetic guy. So to hear an old Jew be like, I liked him, he was a good guy, it was like, whoa, wow, that sort of goes against what things I've heard.
Yeah.
But there it was, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. So.
Great. So, Donnie. Thanks, Stacey. That was fun. She's sweet.
All right, coming in at number 7. Number 7 on the top 10 chart, and the soul charts, and the pop charts, and the I don't know what I'm saying anymore charts. Actually, coming in at number 7 is our first show of the season, which was the return of the co-host from our show's namesake. I'm dropping all kinds of lines.
Fatman on Batman.
Fatman on Batman, yes. Mr. Mark Bernard joined us to kick off the season. We were so happy to have him, and here is a little bit from that show.
Let's talk about how the show has changed since 2015. You guys have gone video. You went and you got kevinsmith.com or, it is kevinsmith.com or on YouTube. It's the YouTube channel. It's Kevin Smith.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, it's with every new iteration of the show, it ultimately comes out of Kevin saying, hey, do you mind if we do this? And I'd say, no, dude, it's your show. Whatever you want to do. It's like, you want to put cameras in here? Great. You want to get a studio? Okay. You want to put it up on YouTube? Fine. You want to do live shows? Yeah, okay, I'm cool.
So you're just like, whatever, I'm all good.
I am very much like Han Solo is piloting the ship, and I'm just sitting there switching dials and moving levers.
You're very happy.
Occasional approval.
Are you a Chewie or are you a Nine-Num?
Oh, no, I'm a Chewie on this one.
Okay.
I'm a Chewie on this one.
So you don't feel like you feel like more like a guy in a suit than a hand puppet.
If I have to choose. Guy in the suit.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the hand puppet. That means Kevin's got his hand up the old. So what initiated, though, the big change to go to video? Because Kevin has always been resistant to that in terms of podcast. Like, what finally pushed him over the cliff?
I think he just sort of took a look at the landscape and seeing both what was existing on, podcast form, audio only, and then seeing what the web version of it was like, what the YouTube version of it was like. And there were a lot of people out there doing sort of nerd stuff, and even like daily shows nerd stuff weren't too long, like 10, 15-minute episodes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? We could totally do this on video and would also work for audio. I mean, it doesn't quite have the same, intimate Kev is getting stoned and I am secondhand inhaling, talking for hours about, ephemera. But, I still think that, especially once I got used to the camera, it still has a little bit of that old charm to it. And, I think he just looked at it and was like, you know what? I think there's a space for us here. And I think there's a way to pull in a new audience, a different audience, and add it to the old audience, and then everybody gets to win. Yeah, I mean, it's and it's funny, like we've had a couple of guests on, both on the video version and the audio version.
You've had some killer ones.
We've had some pretty strong guests, and it's always a little bit weird with guests, only because like the 3-person interview dynamic is different than a 2-person interview dynamic. Like it's rare that you have, 3 people all having the same conversation at once, where one person is clearly the focus of it, and the other 2 people are just battering that dude with questions.
Yeah, someone has to drive the conversation.
Somebody has to drive the conversation, and then the other person gets to be like the Ed McMahon, just occasionally shouting in something interesting from the corner.
Yes.
And I'm always super conscious of the fact that, for people who come to the show, they're coming for Kevin. Like he is absolutely the star of this thing, and I'm his, wacky sidekick buddy.
Yeah, but as your wacky sidekick buddy, you're sort of a muse. Most of Kevin's sidekicks are his muse. They bring out something in Kevin. Each one of you brings out, like, you definitely bring out that curious writer in him more than any other. Well, Andy does, but it's more joke. You're definitely story structure guy,
Yeah, I mean, and I'm happy to have found sort of that slot and that role. And here's a thing that I love, and here's a thing that I've spent. God, I was tallying it up the other day. I've been a professional journalist for 25 years, which it's weird to think of having done anything for 25 years in a row, let alone something you get paid for. But yeah, I mean, I've spent a long time working with writers and working with critics and working with other journalists and getting to do the writing. It's like, hey, if there's a thing that I have to add, if there's some sort of muscle memory of having to have analyzed movies and TV shows and video games and comic books for a quarter of a century, then I'm happy to deploy it as he sees fit.
Oh, sorry about that. And there you have it. Should I keep? If I can't, I have to do it for everybody, and it's crazy. I have to do it for everybody. It's crazy. If you didn't hear me just say that, repeat it 16 times because I'm like Rain Man this morning. Getting a hot flash, are you, sweetie?
Oh, you're going to cut that, right?
Nope, not at all.
See? Now I can get pissed at you.
Why? What did I do?
I don't know. Nothing.
You're over there making a lot of...
I know. I have, like, issues, guys. It's just...
Well, they already know because if they've heard a couple shows ago...
I know, but we didn't say exactly what it was.
Yes, you did. You came out and dumped it. That's why I was like, are you sure you want to... I was wondering if it was the medication talking.
Maybe it was a little bit because I don't remember saying it. But I do now.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly okay with it.
Okay.
So this is, a little early on this, but hey, you know what?
Yeah. Science.
It only lasts a couple minutes, but I like that interview with Mark Bernard. And
I did too. It was good.
He's a special kind of guy.
We've done some very good interviews this year. We've got
he's very excited to be a part of Fatman on Batman, the Kevin world. He's very appreciative, and he's like, who wouldn't want to? Video, this, that. Like, I love that. Like, hey. Like, that's how you get opportunity, more opportunity.
He's not silly.
He's enthusiastic.
He ended up writing on, what do you call it, on the Stephen King show.
I know.
That's coming out.
And I was like, sure, I'll sit and talk to you about stuff I like. Why not? You know what I mean? It's like a no-brainer.
And here's the thing. If you go back in the show and listen to... originally, Mark Bernardin came on Fatman on Batman as a guest. He was part of all the commentaries that Kevin was doing, movie commentaries on Batman films. And they're all great. So, I mean, it only made sense to partner up with him. And if you listen to more of that interview, there's a part where I say something to the effect of, when people like you were asking me, what do you think of how the show has changed? As a podcaster,
Right.
I've come to realize that the last thing I want to do is tell other people how to do their show, because the one thing I know is what's most important about the show is the podcaster want to be there. You know what I mean?
The energy stays.
Exactly.
Because if the energy's gone, there's nothing there.
So if Kevin is like, for instance, the hardest part of doing a show like ours is it's guest driven.
Right.
So if you don't have a guest, you don't have a show.
Right.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Now, granted, you and I know how to work around that.
Right.
I mean, we schedule for host shows because we like that too.
Right.
That has its own energy as well. So
right.
We like a certain amount of those shows per year too. But so you're very dependent on guests. Once it became Kevin and Mark just kind of talking about pop culture and stuff.
Right.
It made it so that the show became, it could be something that's done regularly.
Yeah.
It's fun for Kevin to show up and talk about those things.
Yeah.
And he wants to be there.
And the special shows are like the guest shows.
Enthusiasm,
Right.
is the key in podcasting. So if
Right.
you can't get enthusiastic.
Yeah. Well, now there's Scum and Villainy too. Like, how cool is
the
that?
Scum and Villainy connection.
And Cali guys, check that
You know
place
what's funny?
out.
We still haven't dropped that show yet because of just the way our
Yeah.
episodes have shaken out. That will drop next week.
Yeah, that's a great guys. Go there if you're around like LA and stuff, and
we have
follow
a
them on Twitter.
We recorded
They're
a show
awesome.
with JC months ago, back in
JC,
November. or
they're
something.
so supportive of our show. Like they're always supportive.
Yeah,
of
they're very cool.
social
Very
media, awesome guys. Like they're so. And there's other stuff happening there in the Kevin universe.
Yes,
so,
as a matter of fact, yes, Edumacation's coming there on the 15th
oh my
of January.
God, how cool! So go there, guys.
And
Hello.
some Edumacation's dropped. Most recent Edumacation's kind of very strange and off the hook because Andy promised
Andy allowed
Kevin no agenda, and just like Kevin just pretty much uses it to like
he abuses
whip him. Whip
he
him
abused
somehow.
it.
Yeah, so
He abused.
it's a very interesting show.
I like when it's off. Like,
Edumacation's my favorite of the show. I know that sounds like how can you pick a favorite, but
no, but
I just like the dynamic of Andy and Kevin.
and it doesn't mean that you like dislike the others.
No, not at all. It's just
they're so funny. Like he's so
because of Andy's personality, Kevin goes in places that he wouldn't go with other people because it's that embarrassment thing.
Yeah.
He's like there aren't many. Think about it. You can't really embarrass fucking Jay. You can't
Scott Mosier, no.
Scott Mosier is too smart.
He's too
he'll see it for what it is.
He's too secure. Yeah.
Same thing in a cranky way with Ralph. He's a brick wall kind of guy.
Right.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings kind of guy.
And Mark just kind of like laughs everything off.
Yeah. So just Andy is that sensitive guy that you could just be able to tweak.
I mean, and it's funny, so funny because when he does it, when Kevin like makes him all like like embarrassed and stuff, you can almost see like the reaction in his face, like his face getting all red, and because he's so like fair.
Yes.
You can almost like see it in your mind, like him just getting like so embarrassed and want to like die.
So. It's great. I love it. It's a fun dynamic. So that's why I enjoy that show. Plus, I mean, let's face it, without Edumacation helped put this show on the map because it helped put BCJ on the map and so on and so forth. So we love them. Anyway, so now moving on. What are we on? We're on number 6. Coming in at number 6 in the countdown. Now, I just love this show because it's essentially me. A lot of it is me commiserating with another filmmaker.
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, I mean, I love the subject of the movie. This is Lisa Downs, and she's the one behind Life After Flash. It's a documentary about Flash Gordon and that whole phenomenon. And I will cut into the clip now because she talks about what it was like getting to film and talk with Brian May from Queen.
Oh my God! Were you able to get any of the guys from Queen?
We got Brian May.
Yes,
I love you.
Oh my God, Brian
the
May.
greatest guitar player on the planet.
He's amazing.
His rock
super nice. I mean, and this is a good example of why it sometimes takes a long time to do, a film, because it took us like 2 years to get hold of him.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Let me ask you though, first we noticed it from the show, and then it was very transferable to the documentary. It's like video gaming. Like, you have to down a boss. You have to take down a boss, and then once you've taken down a boss, everyone kind of goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And then you can get a bigger boss.
Right. Yeah. That was it. We were lucky that it was shot in the UK, so we started to get, some of the crew and some of the smaller cast, and then it would build, and then we'd go to Comic-Cons and get more kind of celebrities who were fans, and then it would build, and then it got to a point where, you can go then for, like the big fish.
Yeah.
So, but but the thing about Brian though, was
oh my God,
I hate you.
Brian May from
hate
Queen.
you.
I know. I'm still like
you.
that.
That's
but he genuinely, I don't think, was thinking, well, who else do you have in it? He loved the idea. As soon as I managed to get hold of him, loved the idea of it. It took 6 months to get his schedule.
Of course.
We had 6 interviews.
This is the Kevin Smith thing here, and
exactly.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had to be rescheduled 5 times before we managed to get him. And we went to his house, and it was amazing.
Oh my
and
God.
it's like the throne, Queen's throne, and it's just. It was an incredible house and experience, and he was so nice. But it was genuinely because he loves his work on the film. He loves their work. He's so proud of it. He's like, "Oh, I'll just go and shave. Hang on." And he came out in his Flash t-shirt and said,
"Oh my God!
Oh my God!"
We're like dying.
So you have no idea. Brian May, to me, like, besides his actual talent, the man defined the sound of the electric guitar. I mean, it's perfect. Like, you want to say, what's a perfect guitar sound in rock? It is Brian May, without a doubt.
Oh my God, Lisa.
And he was another one that I said I cannot finish it without him.
Yeah, right. I believe that.
You
I'll
can.
do what it takes, but you just have to. You have to just keep going. And 2016 for me was quite an interesting year because I had massive ups and downs with the film because I had done my first crowdfunding. We had shot. I was in that awkward limbo of I didn't have another shoot overseas to do. I was trying to get some big names.
You don't have enough money.
I don't have enough money, and I was at the point where I was resenting it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I can totally identify with this.
And because it started with the editing process of I'll just organize the files for when we get an editor, and then it was I'll just start laying down the interviews.
Oh, then you're better than me.
And then, but then it got to a point where
every time I did that, I quickly would get upset with myself and be like, no, if you start, no.
Yeah, but I didn't have a choice, and eventually my producer said to me, you are going to have to edit this yourself, and I was like, no, it's fine, something will happen, it'll come up, but I'll just keep, building the foundations for someone, and obviously
that was always my plan.
Yeah,
my plan was always to edit myself, but. For our document, somewhere along the line, I felt like, you know what? I want to let this go
because it's hard to pick your work out of something and take it out.
And also, like, it does become overwhelming. Like, I got to do 10,000 things and edit.
But it was I just couldn't afford an editor.
Yeah, well,
that came down to, and
it's
so I didn't
expensive.
have to.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I'm really pleased that I did because I feel like it's like mine now.
There you have it. See, I'm taking you behind the thing. It's very hard to cue up the applause. I have everything set up very different now, folks.
She's great.
Lisa was great. And it was just great to hear her say things like, at this point, I resented the film because...
Yeah, you do go through a process.
Through a period. You go through all kinds of stuff where you why did I do this?
Right.
Now with
then there you just want moments. Can it just be over? Because
I'm kind of feeling like that now with April's ankle. It's like, I know that's selfish and she's in pain and all that, but yeah.
But deep down, that's not what you mean. But on the surface, it's
like, now I know that this is going to take its toll. So
and kind of joking, like, hey, does she know how to edit over there, Mike?
Yeah, I sent her an email and saying, hey, can you teach her to use the tool
funny.
Because she's going to be laid up a long time. She could probably get a lot of work done.
Looks like
she knew how to edit.
Little laptop, and there
Put
you go.
Put her leg up, give her the laptop.
Get a little coffee and
there you go. Keep her caffeinated. Well caffeinated.
I'm sure the kids are keeping her busy too.
Oh my God. So yeah, it was nice. I love that discussion, and that led to behind the scenes a lot of stuff, trying to help her film out. Now, granted, I was trying to get Kevin in it, her together, and it didn't necessarily pan out. But I don't know. I'm better when I'm doing things for others,
right?
And it was nice at that point to have a mission for somebody else,
right?
Because we were running into Kevin and Ralph and all that. So it was nice to, when seeing him, not be on my agenda. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and it seemed like the timing, because we were seeing everybody, and the timing was kind of working out.
Yeah, because they were going to be in Hollywood.
Right. And if they could make it, it would be great. So we offered the invitation and told them about it, and it was great.
Yeah, and that's where we met the gentleman from Lost, too.
I know. That was so...
The Joker.
That was so cool.
Yes, and then we met Michael Emerson as a result of all that.
He was so...
backstage with Ralph.
He's an interesting guy, that guy. He seems like he's very interesting. Yeah. So anyway, that was cool.
Yes, this was all... And also... Oh, that's why.
He had an amazing coat on. I remember that. He did it like when he went, because when we were
was
leaving,
it a coat, like a suit coat?
No, it was like a winter coat. Okay. It was like a winter coat. But when he was going,
that's right.
When he was going up the stairs as he was leaving,
he was going skiing or something.
It was like more of like a I don't know. It was just like it was a dress coat, but it had like a fur. It had like a collar. But as he was leaving, he was going and was like flapping behind him. He was like almost like in like some sort of like scene of some sort of movie. It was just very interesting. It was like an interesting, and that moment must have been like 5 seconds. And I'm making it sound like it was like a lifetime, but it was pretty awesome to watch.
It was. Huh. Well, coming up now is one of the most fun, I think. If I had a top 10 most fun times we've ever had in this room, this would probably be it. This would be among that top 10. Our next guest, we met in 2015 at Kevin's 45th birthday celebration at Caroline's Comedy Club.
Right.
She just happened to be seated next to us.
I know.
She was alone, and then we were sitting next to her. We were both we both had good seats. So and as the night, it didn't even take that long. Within the first 10-15 minutes, like we were gabbing like old friends.
It was so easy to.
Yeah.
She's very enthusiastic and awesome, fun.
And the person that we're talking about is Donna Turner. Now, it turns out Donna also has a sister named Dawn.
Dawn.
Who also is very much into, going to Kevin Smith stuff.
Right, who was supposed to be there, actually.
And just didn't make it that night.
Yeah.
But they both made it into the studio. It's funny because we recorded an interview, and even then I remember being like, God, this would be so much better if they were here. Because we did it over Skype, and it just wasn't the same. Or their phone or something. And either if something happened, it got blown away, it didn't come out right, but we ended up having them come in.
Yeah, and they were like, sure, on board, like right away. They're so animated, it's great.
Yeah, and so here we go from earlier in the year. This will be Dawn and Donna Turner. It's from show 4-05. Anyone keeping count?
Wow, 05, huh?
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Funny, this is number 5. Number 5 was our 5th show of the year, and I wonder if I did that on purpose.
So what was that part? What was that character? Where did that...
Guess which part it was in Clerks 2.
That's called the big lead-in.
Yeah. No. Guess what part? Can you guess what part you thought it was?
I just want to stop for a minute. I want to give this clip a little more of a setup.
I
realize now that upon hearing it, I meant to give it a setup. So one of the things that Dawn tells us about, or not Dawn, sorry, Donna tells us about, or both of them tell us about, is that apparently Kevin was so inspired upon meeting Donna. Sorry. God, you both have D names. You're killing me here.
D.
Yeah. So
double D.
Yeah. So, so upon he was so inspired by meeting Donna, like that. He basically was inspired to put her into one of his films as a character. And the character that he wrote her in was in Clerks 2.
That's so funny.
And so she talks about that story here and how it was related to her. So, and for anyone who doesn't know, that character is Wanda Sykes, and it's a small They're a customer character.
It's a great
but it's a great
scene.
clip.
So what was that part? What was that character? Where did that?
Guess which part it was in Clerks 2.
That's called the big lead-in.
Yeah. No. Guess what part? Can you guess what part? You thought it was
Speaking of,
I don't know. No one in my church in here.
it was the Wanda Sykes part.
Oh
my God.
She sounded exactly like her.
Baby, you can't take racism.
Yeah.
I love
he
him
did contact
too.
me on
the porch monkey
what
scene.
you call it? On
I'm taking it back.
On View Askew.
Yeah.
And you know I printed it out, so I had that forever and ever.
Yes.
So I at least said I was asked, and he said I would get in touch with you, so on and so forth. But you know what?
I think it was
down Hollywood and their changes and politics and things. I was kind of hurt. I was like,
oh my God, Donna.
but you know what? I totally get where he's coming from. We're talking about making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
He needed that. I guess he wanted that demographic to pull him in.
Right.
And need to know me.
But what an honor, though.
Just the fact that he even based something on her.
So exciting.
Oh my God.
That's a so honor.
Yes.
And she has thousands, hundreds, whatever, however many were in there, of witnesses because he said it. So
And
everyone knew. Well, those people.
So
And the person who
exciting.
played you. I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
Hello.
yes.
She's
I love
amazing.
London Sykes.
Oh my God.
I said one day I would love to meet her.
Oh my God, that would be great.
Sometimes we're on the phone and she comes on TV. She's like, that bitch.
That's me.
She'll start laughing.
That's me.
No. It's
My
just
God.
like, no. I know. Listen.
First episode, we need
not
so
to
much
call
sound
her
conditioning.
one, but it's just like you stole my part. But you didn't steal it because I didn't have it because, you know.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
But she just, like.
But look what a great job she did.
Oh, she did blow it out the water.
Like, she
But
did
I
you
was
good.
I did get to go see it. I got invited to
The premiere?
I mean, the screening in California, out in L.A.
And you went.
Yeah.
I know
I
that.
was
You
there.
went?
Going Skippy, I was there. What? Yeah.
So you went to the
She was
premiere?
great.
No. I went to the screening at the studio.
Ah.
Yeah,
So
fun.
before it was even released.
Before it was released.
So fun.
Okay.
So I was
Private
Clerks 2 was
screening.
great.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
was like, this is awesome.
That was a great
Fancy.
movie, too.
I was
Clerks
like,
2.
thank you,
It was.
Kevin.
Funny.
It was really good.
How
I
fun.
totally enjoyed
Yep.
it.
There you have Dawn and Donna Turner. Ah, you stupid light applause. Thank you for making
They're so late.
I know. It's so terrible. Well, now I'm standing because I'm getting excited as we make it into this the
No.
second half of
This,
the
that was an amazing time we had with them.
so much
and-
fun. They're like they're a lot of fun to be around. You know, they're just. I mean, her name at one point she says that her name on the old View Askew board was Off the Hook.
Yeah.
And that is an apt description
Right.
of how she is and what it's like to be around her. She's a lot of fun, and that's Donna.
That whole entire show is great. So.
Yes, and you and Dawn were trying to do a podcast, but life gets in the way.
It does, but 2018,
Yes.
I'm telling you,
All right,
all that
well,
stuff's behind us.
I'm here.
It's a brand new start. And, because things got
Yeah, in
like
a way, yeah.
the health shit,
Yeah,
it's just then like the recovery and then the before
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
it's
I
just
gotcha.
Work stuff. We all
So
know.
lots of stuff coming in
Excuses,
2018.
excuses.
We're building
2018.
towards 2020. I don't know why 2020. Why not? But
What's gonna happen?
I don't know, but think about it. You know?
Yeah.
Be able to say it's the 20s.
Yeah, 2020.
Hey, it's the 20s, yo. I think that's been a big problem in the decade since the 90s. We haven't been able to say that.
Right.
You know, you can say it's the teens now, but it doesn't have the same impact.
Right.
But once we get into the 20s, we'll be able to say, it's the 20s, motherfucker. Get with the times. Although, to me, it sounds like the 1920s, but okay. I guess we'll figure it out. 23
That's the year.
We'll be able to say 23 skidoo again.
That's the year we turned 50.
Yes.
Is that crazy?
And when we're 53, we'll be able to say 23 skidoo.
Yeah. Woohoo.
That's going to be a big advance.
Yes.
When we
I'm
go
feeling
back.
it. I'm feeling it. I'm
Okay.
feeling it, guys. So yeah, Donna and Dawn are awesome, and
Yes.
the energy was great.
Now the next number 4, coming in at number 4, would
Mm-hmm.
also probably be in that top 10 most fun we've ever had in this room.
Oh my
Guests.
god.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yes. I know.
Now, I don't know if we drove this home enough, but it's funny because recently, and I'm pretty sure it was on Edumacation with Andy and Kevin.
Yeah.
They were talking about reactions to Ambien. People having bad reactions to Ambien.
Yeah.
And they couldn't remember the name of Ambien at first, and it took them a while, and then they figured it out. And the irony of that was, and Kevin was like, oh, really? People do this? And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, oh, wow, if only he knew. His own cousin does this.
Oh, my God, of late.
Because the reason that we have this next guest on the show, we figured out, is because he was texting while on Ambien.
Yeah, but
Ambien. I always put a T at the
end.
end.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a.
I think it's an ambient. It sounds like ambient sound.
Yeah.
Ambient sound.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I mean,
it was so funny.
You would put a request out,
right?
You know,
and
we've been following. Cousin Johnny is the next guest, and his girlfriend /
Lisa
wife / you know they've been together so long they're kind of married.
Right. It's like civil union.
Yeah, but even though there's no civil unions in the state.
Oh, there aren't. That's right. We're in New Jersey.
But like it's like that.
Yeah.
We had so much fun with them here in the studio because it was just like another fun couple to chat with.
They're hysterical.
They're just fun to talk with. Fun people to be around and, down to earth, salt of the earth,
Yeah.
But it was then that we found out, or that we confirmed, because you were always kind of like, I don't know, his texts seem kind of weird, like drunken texting kind of.
But nothing like
inappropriate.
Nothing like inappropriate, and nothing like, everything is spelled right.
But like, hey,
but hey, girl, hey, but not like that. Like, hey now, like that type of.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, and.
So it turns out,
I'm
like
hey,
when we had him in the
on.
studio, and when
he was like, okay.
And thank God he did, because then he felt bad because he committed when he was, he woke up and was like, oh shit, I committed to the show.
He committed.
Yeah, and now we had to go through with it. Apparently there was a bit of a discussion with him and Lisa, like, why do we have to do that? Are they crazy? Do you know what you got yourself into? You're texting an Ambien?
It's too late now. It's too
Ambien?
late.
Yeah, so, but it turned out okay, but that is essentially how we got our next guest. It was
hysterical.
Texting and Ambien. So, Ambien.
Ambien. You'll get it.
Yeah, someday. Again, I tell you why. But there you go. So our next guest is the man responsible for the original ending of Clerks, and who you also know as Finger Cuffs in Chasing Amy. He's also, hey, what are you going to do with these babies in Jay and Silent Bob. He is Kevin's cousin, but one of those. He's not his biological cousin, but basically their moms are really tight.
Right.
So Grace and his mom are best buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go, Cousin Johnny. One of the most fun times we've had in the studio, and here's the clip.
Why am I such a dunce?
So Kevin comes to you and says, "I'm shooting a movie."
Yes.
What is?
And he.
He's back from film school.
Yes, I believe he was back, and he said,
"Were you guys close?"
We were from for the 15 years we were really close.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Then he went to high school, and he kind of started hanging out with his crew.
His bad friends.
Yes. No, those guys.
The tough guys.
Those guys are all good.
No, but he would say they were tough boys.
Yeah.
And,
Grace would say they were the tough boys.
Yeah, Grace.
Now who was that? Was that Ernie and
That's
Mike?
Walter, all the guys at the rec center.
Yeah, Walter.
No, but when Kevin wanted
Brian.
wanted to get in trouble, he came to 5 Points Road. That's where I live.
That's
the only time. He was normally a good guy. He was a good guy. You know what I mean? As a kid, he was a good kid.
Very true.
And I happened to be, I was a wild kid.
He's a good Catholic boy.
Yeah. He's a good Catholic boy. I was Episcopalian, so I was a little wild.
You weren't as good. You weren't as good as a Catholic.
And yet still Grace ends up your godmother. I'll have to figure that one out.
They needed a strict person, and Grace is very strict.
And
that's what I get the impression of. That is so,
to this day.
It's so interesting.
Very religious.
But even Kevin would get busted on by his friends because he couldn't go out for the weekend or whatever. Like, I'm sorry, you've had too much fun. Now you have to come home.
Come on. She watches his movie. She goes like that.
Oh my God!
Because she gets
she's
more.
She's used to. She's used to.
But
and we had Ernie on. And Ernie freely admits that when he read Clerks, that was his main concern. He was like, your mother is never going to let you do this because it's like a curse every other word.
It's like it was so rebellious against her.
Yeah. It's so interesting that, I mean, it's easy for me to get because I was raised Catholic, so
was
I get it, and I was raised in Queens, so I think in a city you cling to it even more,
Right.
or you go to that even more.
When you hear him talk though about his childhood, he appreciates them so much. I don't think any of that was like at them. I think it was just in general. He was just trying to express himself.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I don't think anything was directed towards
So
them.
he had drifted away from you guys, and now you're kind of like Ernie in that kind of role.
Well, no, I
Did you hang out with him and Ernie?
I met Ernie like years later. Like,
isn't that weird?
Like I met him like years later, like when I first was on they were shooting Clerks the first time. The first Clerks, not the shooting Clerks.
Yeah, the real Clerks. Yeah.
And,
we'll get there. Don't worry.
And I don't remember exactly when I met Ernie, but
so you didn't meet him on the shoot, like you guys didn't shoot together.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because you have the one weird part. I mean,
that was the weird part. I was there for one day, and it was
that's good. Done.
Yeah,
but you say now we were talking earlier before we started hitting record, but you were supposed to play the contractor. So you would have the Star Wars scene and the infamous.
Yes, and I learned that, and we learned it, and I learned what I mean, it wasn't a lot to say, but it was enough to where if you never did a movie before, that's I'm like.
And then you go that day, they're like, well, guess what? We're not going to do it. Miramax said you look too young.
No, Kevin said I look too young.
Yeah, because Miramax is nowhere near.
They
said the shooting was too violent, so that's why.
Bob Hawke was the one. I just found that out. Yeah. That Bob Hawke was the one that said,
you got to cut that.
I got to cut.
But he wasn't the only one. Everyone who saw that said that.
I just, that was the first time I met Bob Hawke the other night.
That's the first time you met him?
That was the first time I met Bob. And he didn't realize that I was the one that shot Dante. And I'm glad I got to meet. He's a nice guy. And
Bob is amazing.
My mother knew him. My mother knows him. And
really?
Yeah, obviously.
But
I mean, Kevin credits him as his angel. You can't.
Yeah, but how would your mother know him?
I don't. She met him multiple times in the
your
past
mother
at
and
parties
Grace,
and
they're
stuff.
always together.
So
okay.
Gotcha. So your mom's Grace's sidekick.
They're like sisters. They
are. They actually, they are. They grew up together.
I tell you, there you go. It's weird because as a result of the Highlands of People history and just being a fan. So what was it? It was 2 years ago when they did.
It was at Kevin's birthday at Caroline's.
Yeah, Kevin's birthday at Caroline's.
45.
Yeah, they were all there, like Grace, and I didn't realize. I had a feeling, but I never called it out that it was Don and Don's husband,
Jerry.
Yeah. And they were. But I know as soon as I made a joke, I forget what it was. It was something about Jerry leaned to Don and said something about he's the only guy who finds your stories interesting. Because I was talking about listening to the podcast every night and everything. And that's why I was like...
I mean, people podcast... I mean, you guys podcast every day or once a week?
This is a weekly.
We probably,
do a weekly show. Yeah,
we do 1 or 2 nights a week because we have to kind of put everything together.
Yeah,
this is our 4th year of doing this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See, that's what's so weird to us. Like, we still pop up on people's radar. We're sort of, if you're a Kevin Smith fan, we're sort of like your next favorite show that you probably don't know about yet.
I wanted to end on that fine little point. We're your next favorite Kevin Smith show.
Yeah.
Just wake up there. Stop texting.
No, I'm not. I'm just in reading.
Reading?
Yes.
We're in the top. We got 3 more to go here.
I know.
We're in the home stretch. We're in the top 3.
Cousin Johnny.
All right. Yeah, I love Cousin Johnny. That was a lot of fun. I want to get them back in here, man.
Yes.
They'd just be a lot of fun. And recently,
oh my God! Hey now,
you got another.
I got another one while I was at work.
But that was midday, so
it was it wasn't even. It was like 11ish.
You can't be taking Ambien in midday.
No, at the stash.
That had to be just a regular text.
Yeah.
That was probably like, I need to send something, so she doesn't think I'm ignoring her.
No. I mean, and it'll happen once in a while. Hey now, and I didn't even respond to it, but I will send a Happy New Year and all that. But it was interesting.
Coming in at number 3, this was an amazing get because it was so odd in that you found out that this person was a friend of yours on Facebook.
I know.
but didn't put two and two together. So, like, he was a friend of yours before you even realized.
For, like, over a year, at least over a year.
So you were following our next guest as a friend on Facebook before you even knew that he was none other than Principal Vagina.
I know, from Rick
and Morty.
Jesus.
That's right.
Like,
the one, the only Phil Hendry. And so the fact that we were able to get him on the show and, just have someone connected in any way to what had become our favorite show in the world,
I know.
Rick and Morty, was just a total blast. And the other thing was, I mean, we've kept it on the wraps here today, but I'm a very political person, and to find out that he is a very political person in the same bend, was just another like wonderful thing.
Yeah, and it's hard not to be in the environment that we're in.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
In the era of Trump, it's hard not to be.
It's hard to be.
Not to have an opinion.
Right.
But without any further ado, we were able to get this awesome guest, and I'm so happy that we were able to get him on, Mr. Phil Hendry.
You are Principal Vagina.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. But God, I'd forgotten all about the head religion.
That is like my favorite episode because of just recently, as a matter of fact, we showed a friend it's the go-to episode I use when I want to show somebody what Rick and Morty is. That's the episode I put on because it's just so perfect. It's zany, but it just highlights so much of what they do, and you are such a featured character in it.
That character, Principal Vagina, is the closest I've ever come to just using my own voice.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really do any. I don't do any real character manipulation there. I just use Phil Hendry's voice, and that's the first time in all of my voice acting career where I've relied heavily on just the use of my own voice. And since that time, I've thought, what's wrong with doing that? I mean, that's a valid character too. I think it's in the instinct of anybody who does voice acting to manipulate your voice somehow, create something or someone other than yourself. But I remember getting the direction from Justin of just being the principal, which was essentially the voice of Phil Hendry.
And, you're a little more authority, but it's more you as tough guy. Or what I love about that character and what I think is going to be so great to watch is because of the name, the running gag is after you say it, there's like a buyback of the name, like some sort of explanation, and it's so funny. But the one that is to me my favorite is this one where he's like,
Principal Vagina here. Don't let the name fool you. I'm very much in charge.
Don't let the name fool you. He said, don't let the name fool you. I'm very much in charge. Yeah, that's a quieter one because you're on a PA.
That's like having a teacher named Mr. Lipschitz or
yeah.
I remember teachers like that, definitely.
Yeah, and it seems like at least Principal Vagina seems secure in the fact that his name is Vagina enough to at least make these buyback jokes.
Right, I think in his mind it's Italian, and the actual word vagina occasionally occurs to him that it has another meaning, but to him it's just the family's Italian name.
Yeah, I actually recently learned the origin of that name and what that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually on we can tie this into Kevin Smith too, on one of his podcasts, Edumacation, where they kind of talk about cocktail science. He hosts it with a gentleman who used to write for Jay Leno on The Tonight Show named Andrew McElfresh, and he loves etymology, and so he did look up the origin of that word, and it is Italian. I mean, it's Latin, and it's from vagine, which is the sheath for your sword.
Perfect.
Yes.
Leave it to the Italians.
Yes, to minimize women to nothing more than a sheath for a sword.
Well,
an appendage.
That's part of the anatomy. Yeah.
An appendage. They're more of an appendage, or something that you need to put your sword in. But you can go without it if you can just shove it in your belt if you have to.
Shove it in the belt, folks.
Yeah. Now to add to that, you could shove it in your belt, but isn't it more secure? In a sheath.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But the joke there is, of course, like women are summed up to a complimentary item.
Right.
Yeah.
I just love the, yeah.
It's like something this comes in handy.
Yeah.
But the vagina is where I stick my sword.
I know, right?
Yeah. Wow. So there we go. Number 3, a Rick and Morty tie-in, baby.
Principal vagina.
So they do send him some love too on
they do.
On the various
on the
commentary tracks. So
they do. Well, he is genius.
Coming in at number 2, we're getting down there, folks. This next clip is, I just was so happy that we were finally able to get the one, the only Mr. Ralph Garman on the show. That it was just a great time talking with him. This is before, of course, all the stuff happened with his radio show and everything. But even that, like, he's been dropping some hints that, I don't know, he might be back on the air.
Yeah.
Somebody should be a smart radio.
Why hasn't someone scooped that?
If I was a radio guy, if I was a radio guy, why wouldn't you get Kevin and fucking Ralph to do a show in the morning?
They're so and they're so like, yes, like it's such like a done deal already. It's not like you even have to do anything.
Well,
they're just they just
doing radio though is different than podcasting.
It's different.
There's a lot more structure.
There's a lot more rules.
There's a lot more rules. There's a lot more people up your ass.
Yeah,
there's a lot more
commercials.
Yeah, and like no swear
more
words.
Structure.
And,
it is true though. You're right.
Yeah.
Swear
so
words.
the question is, would Kevin want to be tied down to all that? You know,
that might be a no.
Who knows? Maybe it's a yes. I guess it would all depend on the nature of the offer and all that stuff. But I know that they wanted to do a segment on the radio. I mean, that's how Babylon came around. So.
Right.
But anyway, so as we sit here and speculate.
Well, I just wonder if Ralph even expected all of like what he got after that, like all of the love. Did he?
Yeah, but there was all like. Did you see that other post? You read it to me actually.
Oh yes.
The post where like people are apparently threatening
people don't
Kevin.
Threaten,
come on,
don't threaten like Kevin.
First of all,
like raping his wife.
Come
on, dude.
It makes. Ralph Garman fans and Kevin fans and the Garmy
look like shits.
Look like jerks.
Yeah. So Bean posted it and on Twitter, and because someone was
it's not the whole Garmy, but
someone from the Garmy threatened to rape his wife. Like really, Kevin. I mean, and you know what, Ralph?
You know how people say stupid shit.
Yeah, but don't
probably someone said you should have your wife raped.
Yeah, and the thing is, people don't take that as a joke.
Yeah,
like when you threaten their family.
No.
And Ralph sure as fuck does not sign on to that bullshit.
Yeah.
So Garmy,
come on, chill. Whoever's doing shit like that.
Yeah, Garmy, chill out.
You're not helping anyone.
Yeah, and it's not the Garmy.
Yeah.
It's like a person in there.
Yeah,
that's
it's an individual.
Yeah, an individual. Right. So like
who doesn't get it.
Yeah, so just kind of like chill out, peeps.
Yes. That doesn't help anyone.
It doesn't.
But anyway, without any further ado, here is Ralph Garman. So we saw that out in L.A. And again,
we did.
I had the opportunity. I had the biggest laugh elicited from me during that movie was from you. Yes. It was when you go like this. You were like,
"They told me I had no talent. They told me I stink on ice. They're so negative and hurtful. They cut me, Mick."
Oh my God, they cut me, Mick. Came out of left field and just cracked me.
That was an ad lib,
and that was one of those ones that I kept like I couldn't let it go. I kept like for at least a good 5 minutes. I was still going off on that one,
and it was an ad lib. That's what you just said, right?
Yeah, and there was a couple in there. I did another one where we were talking about the character that sort of brings me into the Nazi fold named Adrian Arcan. And so I'm doing Stallone in that chunk there, and I was like, yo, Adrian. I was like, how can I not do that? The guy's name is Adrian. It's the perfect feat in there. But it was so much.
That's right.
That was a crazy, crazy shoot because we only had Johnny for one more day. So we were shooting all of his stuff first, and then we were shooting all of my stuff, and it was almost like it was 20 hours, like a 20-hour shooting day. It was so long.
Was Kevin like rewriting it as you go? Well, now I got to rewrite it to like Al Pacino. Ooh-ah.
Well, he rewrote the script once he decided that he was going to cast me in it. He rewrote the script and wrote all those impressions into the script. So that was all ready to go.
When you read it, you're like, "Isn't this a little kooky?
No,
is the audience going to buy this?"
Yes.
I did say to him, I said, I know you get a kick out of the impressions I do in Babylon, but it may not be the best fit for the movie. And he said, look, we want the Babylon fans to come to this and get a kick out of the fact that they're seeing you do all that stuff that you do. And he said it's so much fun to be.
And it's a great setup for the girls. The girls have such great reactions to you.
They do.
By not knowing who you are
doing.
and shit. Right. It's so funny. That's part of the charm to me. It's like, pull the trigger. Wow, they're so off.
That's not Batman. That's not Batman at all.
Can you give us a little Al Pacino, sir?
Ooh, well, I'd be happy to. Because you guys, Scott and Jeanne, oh, what a couple. You got a couple of great asses.
You got that right.
Do you know what? It's not that half bad Al Pacino there.
I've been saving that all fucking day.
It's funny. We were shooting that, and my very first scene with Johnny was him at the end of the table, and they're handcuffed, and I'm eating cereal, and I wake up, and it's, you're very excellent, and I go into this German, and then first thing I do is Pacino, and after that first take, Johnny leans in and he goes, "That's a pretty good Al Pacino," and I said, he's friends with Al, so that made me relax. I said, okay, I'm in good hands.
I have to say, I don't know that I've ever heard it that in the cans this close up, and you hit those little those little gurgles in the throat that you can't hear necessarily on the show through a different kind of mic.
Yeah, it's even better when I do it quiet. Because that's how Al is, He's very intense, and then he gets loud. Ooh,
Do you have?
Oh my God,
Mr. Ralph Garman.
How can you beat that?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Well, there's only one way.
I know.
We only have one interview. I say that with
I love it.
year. And of course leads us into
what a guy. What a guy.
What would be our number one pick for
another what a guy
for 2017? That's right. I'm sorry, folks, about the applause.
God, you people.
I'm terrible.
Can you get it right? God, they're loud and soft and loud and soft.
I don't think this will be a surprise to anybody if you stuck with us this year that this is our number one clip of the year, because it was just sort of it was a big to do. It was a big deal for us.
A big deal.
We're very happy that we could that Jeanne could get this person on.
Yes, thank you, Amy.
Again, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that we had such a good interview with Michael Rooker a couple years back, and because it's a lot of the same people that handled them.
Right.
And since either A, he didn't say anything negative, or B, he might have even said something positive, they didn't, this was able to occur.
Well, and, this is how networking, social media is amazing, because people are just, you just get, tied in and tuned in to certain people that you become friends with, and they help you out.
Yeah.
So when you find that, don't burn bridges, guys. If you can, seriously.
Really? You shouldn't burn bridges?
No.
That's Captain Obvious advice.
And me. That's me. So, yeah, it's just, social media. I know people shit on it a lot, but it can work miracles. So just kind of,
It's giving us a life.
Yeah.
So really what made this happen, and the way I saw this is it's very hard to do something for Kevin Smith, to give him a gift or to do any of that stuff, because he can buy whatever he's well off,
and it's what do you give to the guy who has everything?
So how do you give back to a man who's given you so much?
Right.
Ways that I see of giving back are things like this, or basically I'll deliver a show for Kevin. If I can get one of his heroes or whatever you want to call it, that's how I can.
Yeah.
That's how I can pay Kevin back.
Right.
So this show was, in many respects, my way of paying Kevin back for all the joy he's given us.
Right.
We kind of give him something back, because we know that he loved Sean Gunn in that role, and he loved Guardians of the Galaxy
the
2.
Movie.
And he also plays Rocket, and the
God,
fact
what a
again,
movie.
I don't know how we got him on the show. I'm so appreciative that we did. Well, Jeanne.
Hello.
Yeah, but even you don't even know how you got him.
I have no idea.
But
I have no fucking idea. It was amazing.
This was probably, the high note for the show in 2017 was when we had Mr. Sean Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 on the show. And here we go. Time for the clip.
Thank you very much. I've never met Kevin in person. We've done a couple of cons that we've both been together, and I'm friends with the guys on Comic Book Men. But the next time I see him, I have to give him a big hug because he's been very generous with his compliments.
Yesterday, did you see the tweet he put out about how?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Oh, yesterday he put out a big tweet. He retweeted what a fan said, how essentially we can't stop crying at the end of the movie when your character, does it's just so upset, with the fireworks and everything, and you're just so moved.
Oh.
And I'm moved. Let me tell you something. I've had this habit of going to, I love superhero movies. Obviously, I'm a fanboy. But with your movie, with Volume 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, like you've reached this point where I can't go to them anymore because I'm a basket case at the fucking end. and yours was particularly, I was hot tears were pouring down my face when Yondu dies. Spoilers out there, folks. But I mean, the Guardians franchise has become, for me, the ultimate franchise in the Marvel galaxy. I've been saying it replaces the need for a Fantastic Four. No offense to Fantastic Four, because it covers all those bases, the family dynamics and all that stuff. And your character, both as Rocket, but now even your Kraglin is becoming more a part of that family. And it's just amazing. I end up in tears at the end of that movie, no matter. And I've seen it several times, and I have to leave the room at certain points because it's too much. So there you go. This is going to be a dick sucking for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I like making grown men cry. That's,
and a lot of them.
That's part of my job, I guess. I honestly, I don't know. I'm really grateful for the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole experience has been amazing, and I've been acting a long time, so to find myself to kind of stumble into such a great franchise, and not just be working with my brother, but also with all these other great people, and the part of the whole thing is pretty great. It's not anything I would have ever imagined, or you can never guess where your career is going to head. But it's I'm certainly very very.
You deserve every bit of it. Every bit
of all of it. Well, and it's both. It's luck and luck and opportunity and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
And it's grabbing it with both hands, which is obvious both you and your brother did. And there we go. Our number one and our top 10 moments of 2017, folks. I hope you enjoyed this rundown of craziness.
Wow, they're not stopping. They're so excited.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Well, Sean Gunn. Well, I mean, really? Rocket.
Okay, they're tired.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He's so, I don't know. He's so humble.
Yeah.
Because think about the opportunity he was given. Like, how, amazing. And the movies are so good.
Yeah.
They're so really good. They're so feely.
It's
just like, you blubber.
I love that show. I love that interview. The whole, it's one of those highlight moments of this show.
Right.
Like the fact that we've been able to talk to so many of these very cool heroes.
Very cool. And so sweet. You can just tell that he's so appreciative and loving.
Like, there's a point in there, I don't know, because some stuff you cut after.
Right.
But I remember him saying, I like this style of interview where we're just talking, and it's not like you asking me about fucking, what's his name? Yeah, Chris Pratt or something.
Yeah, good old what's his name. Yeah, because, people say, what's it like working with Star-Lord? Star-Lord.
As if he's like anything, like he's part of an ensemble in that.
I know, but he's pretty amazing. I'm not going to say he's not. Let's just get real.
Yeah. Okay.
But Sean Gunn is too.
Yeah.
He is so important to that movie, and he brings such a
he's
genuine.
Rocket, first of all,
well, he's Rocket, but
he's also Kraglin.
He's also Kraglin.
Kraglin's getting to be a lot of fun,
right? And Kraglin, his heart in that movie, it's just like he's just so there in the moment. He wants Captain.
He's in Infinity Wars. I know. We had a guest on our shows and he's in fucking Infinity Wars.
Right. It's pretty awesome.
That's right. We had an Avenger on our show, kind of, sort of. Yeah, baby.
Well, and his brother.
2017 biatch.
His brother's pretty amazing too. So
yes.
James Gunn.
Yes. Well, maybe he's next. Maybe we'll get him on.
Maybe. He's pretty awesome on social media too. So check all these people out. Sean Gunn, James Gunn.
See, I wonder.
Chris Pratt.
I wonder. See, I don't know if James Gunn would have listened to himself. Or no, I don't know if Sean Gunn would have listened to himself, but I wonder if James Gunn would have listened to his brother.
I don't know.
To mock him at the very least, because that'd be something I would do.
Yeah,
I would listen to my brother to see where I could, get my digs in.
Yeah, it seems like they have that kind of silly relationship.
Maybe he's even heard the show.
I hope so. Maybe he's listening now. Hi, sir.
Yes. Well, please come on the show again. In any event, folks, I enjoy our top 10 shows now. This is our third one, but I really like them. I recommend them a lot to people who haven't heard the show before. I say, well, a good place to start is, we have these top 10 episodes, and they're really good for, getting an idea of what we do.
Right, and it gives you a flavor.
And hey, if you wanted to, you could just listen to these and then jump on.
Right.
And then you can always go and backfill because it gives you an idea of, here's the year in a nutshell.
And there's like a variety of people, and it shows where
it's a best of
where Kevin's world goes. Seriously, because
cut out the chuffa, except for us talking in between.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking to these two the black sisters from East Orange that are Kevin's fans. You know what I mean? Like, come on, really?
But one inspired a character in a Kevin Smith movie.
Know.
So
it's like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yes, you never know where you're gonna go. So that's why we inspire you all. Start your own podcast. It's funny now. There's like a whole shitload of Kevin Smith podcasts that popped in the last year. Mm-hmm. There's a Clerks show, Clerks by the Minute show, who we're having on in a few weeks.
Yeah,
that interview's already recorded, and I'm going to be on their show as well.
Yep.
There's also another. I can't remember the show right now, but yeah. So there's a couple of them out there. They're popping up now.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have a nice tail.
Is there like a Mallrats one? I think. There might be, or another.
No, I think there's a Jay and Silent Bob by the minute, so they can do all the movies, I guess, by the minute. But
I can see that. That's fun.
Yeah, well, I feel like we started our show and we started our show. Everybody's got their own thing.
Yeah,
but
if you put your special, flavor in there,
that's what it's about. It's adding your special spice.
There's a little spice. Everyone needs a little variety.
Yes.
Yeah, so check that out too. Check them out. On Twitter, on social media, everywhere, Instagram. Now,
we should be back to business as usual for the with the start of 2018.
Right.
Like I said, I've just mentioned two shows that we have coming out. We have one with JC from the Scum and Villainy bar in California. He's friends with Kevin. He's actually involved with them more than just that bar.
Right.
We'll get into that. And then the next week we will have the folks from Clerks Minute on. So
that'll be great.
That's the next couple weeks. And then there'll be more after that. So you're writing something. What are you writing?
Oh, no, I was just writing little notes for myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Notes to thyself.
Things you got to do.
Right.
But so we're so glad. We hope you enjoyed this our third installment of, the year in review, our top 10 moments of 2017. And either way, we hope that you continue listening.
Yeah.
And we know that you're smart and you're good. And
have a safe and happy New Year.
Yeah. Don't go too crazy like we plan to do tonight. No.
Yeah, we will be going crazy, but we'll be in moderation, of course.
Yes. We plan to meet sexy friends. See y'all later.
Bye, guys. Have fun and be safe and healthy and love each other.
Yeah, smart and good.
Smart and good.
Smiling, praying for some faith. me here. Then I see the world will turn and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, dawn comes we must reply. Powers from our mother earth, they'll blow us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Reading moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis and matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment, for this moment's done. But now I see the dawn will come and we are all its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, the Godhead in the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Join another person's eyes, we worship at our shrine. Bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our mother earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our mother earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. If you please. If you please.
There he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all. Go get him, that man.